Big Rab Show Podcast is kindly sponsored by G1 Reeds. They are the champion's choice, with many bands around the world playing G1 products, providing everything you'd need to hit the circle or the big stage. So, check out g1reeds.com as they keep the lights on here at the Big Rab Show Podcast. Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another Big Rab Show podcast. Oh, what a busy week that was. Whew. Do you know what? I'm actually quite glad to get sitting in here and talk to you guys. It's been a few days. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get into everything that took place in this bagpiping world over this past week since I was last chatting with you. And there's a lot to get through. And, of course, an amazing topic of the week. That might be a bit cryptic, but that's for good reason. Yeah, I don't want to give the game away altogether, so, yeah, stick around for that. Plus, of course, we got all of the usual news and views from around the scene. Let's get through our introductions then, shall we? If this is your first ever Big Rab Show podcast, then you are welcome. We are the show for the bagpiping folk. We reflect everything in the bagpiping world, be it Celtic music, folk music, or indeed our bread and butter, which is competitive piping and drumming. Each and every week we're here talking about what we know and love to be the music of the great Highland bagpipe and its people. And, yep, it's the old cliche. Like every other podcast under the sun, we do have a Patreon. So, if you would like to help support the show, you can. There's a link in your show notes right now. And just follow us over there to Patreon, where you can click on support and, yeah, get your mitts on loads of extras. Now, the extras include our Fuse FM Ballymoney radio show, which gets uploaded there every single week. And, yeah, there is hours of entertainment there. Plus, there's all sorts of exclusive interviews, performance clips, behind-the-scenes kind of dealios. Lots of exclusives over there on Patreon. So if you do want to go and get all those bagpiping extras, that's where you can go. And, of course, every click of support really does mean the world to us here in the Rab Show team. And, your support really does help us do what we do. So, yeah, that's the Patreon plugged. Go over there and be part of the Patreon faithful and be immediately awesome. There you are. Yeah, shout out to our Patreon faithful, actually. We've got quite an awesome community over there. And, just shout out to all of you. You're all brilliant. Thank you for helping support the show. And, onwards. Well, with each and every episode, we do open the door to listener mail, and this week is no different. And our email address has never changed from the outset. bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Yes, I have to say, most of the listener mail we received this past week was all about future shows. And I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, all right? Yeah, because I've done that before many times. I came very close to spoiling it last night, actually, but we've got quite a big show in the works that we're hoping to release over the course of the competition season, and I nearly let the cat out of the bag last night when I was chatting on Fuse. So yeah, that recording exists. It's up there on Patreon if you do want to hear me going, oh, no, I'm not telling you. Anyway, yeah, I didn't quite let the cat out of the bag, but some of you out there have guessed, and that's all I'm going to say. Anyway, that was a mistake on my part, but hey, there we are. You know, I'm always letting the cat out of the bag, you know, so I'm not going to do that. But yes, our listener mail has been pretty much dominated with, prep work and admin, behind the scenes, making things happen for future shows. And we're working on it. All right, that's all I'm going to say. And yeah, you guys will see all of that work come to fruition in the next few months here on the show. That's one of these things that people often ask me, how do you plan your show? Do you just kind of decide on a whim what your topic's going to be? No, we plan this show often months in advance. Like even right now, I know this is April, but we're already making plans for the Rab Show Awards this year. Yeah, that tells you how far in advance we work. Yeah, sometimes it's a good 6, 9, or in some cases 12 months. Yeah, we plan well ahead of ourselves. So, we try to bring you the best content possible, and sometimes that does take a lot of work behind the scenes. So, again, huge shout out to the Big Rab Show team who are seriously, they're burrowing away on something that I'm not going to spoil, but team behind the scenes know exactly what I'm talking about. If they're listening to me right now and they're probably going, stop talking, Rab, stop talking, you're going to spoil it. It's okay. I'm going to stop talking, team. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. Let it go. All right. So, that's been pretty much our listener mail for this week. It's all been kind of admin-y stuff behind the scenes, so not much commentary in any of our previous episodes. People are still kind of discovering the Kids with Cancer Charity Night episode, which was a few weeks ago now, but a lot of people still delving through that and re-listening to it, actually, and I have to say, but yeah, fair play. I've listened to it a few times now too, to be honest. A wealth of great music over there. And a lot of great commentary being received online for the 70s tribute band. Yeah. Don't know if you managed to see this, but there are videos online that we published on our socials, on our YouTube channel. Received a lot of really positive feedback. And I'm hoping a lot of bookings for future gigs. Yeah, there's a lot of people who were interested in points of contact for the 70s band and if they could be booked for any of our functions. So I've done my best to pass on details wherever possible. So, I'm looking forward to possibly more appearances from the 70s tribute band. Definitely, yeah, they're a band to watch, arguably. You know, definitely can thump out a big tune for sure. So, yeah, if there are any other appearances in the pipeline, pardon the pun, I'll definitely let you folks know. Because I'll be wanting to go to attend that myself. Yeah, you are. All right, so if you do want to send us in your own listener mail, of course, any questions, any commentary, of course, about our show or any questions about the bagpiping world in general, any thoughts and opinions, email them in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. And I think after this week's topic, there might be a few opinions shared. That's all I'm going to say. All right, let's move on. With each and every episode, we always like to visit our favourite feature, which is Weekly Drone. Yes, an open microphone to the bagpiping world where, we broadcast your story, warts and all, thoughts and opinions, all of it, without fear of recrimination. Yeah, Weekly Drone is an open mic, but there's no identifying factors. There's no names, places, bands, any of that. So, yeah. JD, I believe we have a weekly drone on the shelf, so let us have it.
It's the weekly drone.
Something missing from the worlds. The biggest event of the calendar is still missing something. I initially thought it was due to COVID-19, and the RSPBA just wanted to keep us safe. But the new normal is just, normal. So where is the hospitality tent? Come on, RSPBA, take my money. Bring it back for 2025. I loved my Friday and Saturday at the Worlds listening to the big guns from the hospitality tent with a pint in hand and a belly full of quality grub. The best seating in the house and treated like royalty for the weekend.
Weekly Droner, I think I detect a little hint of sarcasm there, perhaps. Or maybe you're being completely genuine. I don't know. We have no idea who that droner was. But yeah, it's a fair point to make. The hospitality tent has disappeared. And yeah, specifically post-COVID. Yeah. Now, we did talk about the hospitality tent at the World Championships before, at length even, on the show. And, there had been a lot of reports about the catering that was on offer there and how much it cost. And, yes, having a VIP area for the bigwigs to hang out, they definitely did have a front row seat for a lot of that Grade 1 action. And, we talked about how unhappy the bagpiping world was with that concept. Yes, there was a lot of animosity about it. A lot of people really hated the idea that bigwigs were sort of wined and dined like that on free booze and free food, where the rest of us were standing in the lashing rain trying to hear half a note on the air in the cheap seats of an MSR. Yeah, so I think people were kind of rightfully angry. Now, I don't know if it was discussed at an AGM or if it was even raised at any of the branch meetings or anything like that, but it did discreetly disappear. Now, if anybody has watched my on-the-ground reports where I filmed video diaries of my attendances at the World Championships over the past couple of years, I did manage to comment on that and the disappearance of the hospitality tent and how the Grade 1 arena has changed over the years. Yeah, we've talked about the arena seating as well being another bone of contention where It can be absolutely sold out every year and you can't get a ticket for it, but yet the stands are empty. Yeah, that's a weird thing, isn't it? I still don't understand that. If you buy a ticket, surely you would go and sit in your seat, wouldn't you? You've spent the money, so why not? But, yeah. Weekly Droner, you do raise a very interesting question about the hospitality tent. Do our bigwigs still get hospitality? Well, yes, I do believe catering is still provided. Now, it's available for officials and judges, the people who are actually working and making the competition happen. Now, should we feed them and water them and look after them? Absolutely. In my opinion, yes, I believe we should. They are a functioning part of the competition, and yeah, they deserve to be fed and watered, in my opinion. It can be a pretty long day if you're a judge, or even if you're a steward or an official in some way. Can be a pretty long day. So, yeah, heading back to a tent somewhere to put the brogues up for a little while, have a sandwich and a cup of tea. Yeah, absolutely. Now, do I think the catering should be extravagant and you get a load of free booze? Absolutely not. But that's not what I'm saying. But that used to be the case for the hospitality tent for a lot of the bigwigs. Yeah, where the judges and that were literally handed a bag of sandwiches and a polystyrene cup of tea and a pat in the head, and then they would have had to walk past the hospitality tent where a lot of the bigwigs who were sitting around with their chains on getting photographs took for the papers. Yeah, anyway, less said about that the better. But catering does still get provided for a lot of the people who are working at the contest, and does that include the bigwigs? I'm not sure. I have not witnessed that. I don't know what happens with all of those guys who get their photos for the paper. No clue. But as for us bands folk, yep, we have to pay 15 quid for a burger and 20 quid for a can of Iron Brew. Something like that, right? Anyway, but yeah, Weekly Droner, very interesting topic there. Yes, you're quite right. The hospitality tent has disappeared, and how that's being provided now is a mystery, I guess. If anyone does know what happens now with hospitality, let us know. bigrabshow@gmail.com. Are you aware? Are the folks with the chains on and everything, and do they still get wined and dined? Or maybe it's done in a different part of the park. Maybe it's tucked away in a little corner somewhere that we can't see. I don't know. Anyway, let us know if you do. All right, that's it for Weekly Drone. If you do want to send in your own, of course, you can go to our website, thebigrabshow.com. Big button at the top of the page saying Weekly Drone. That's where it all is. You can tell us your story, warts and all. And yeah, as you just heard, JD will read it out here in the show and we'll give you our opinions on it. There you are. Weekly Drone. It's one of our favourite features around here. All right, folks. With that all being said, I'm going to take myself a little short break at this point, and then we'll be right back with all of the news and updates. Do you wish piping could be fun again? Bagpipers around the world continue to struggle with their instrument, despite hours of hard work trying to get better. Bagpiping should be fulfilling. Your hard work should pay off, showing improvement and the freedom to express yourself musically. Or why do it? The Dojo University believe every piper should be able to free themselves from musical frustration, proven over more than a decade of successful teaching and accessible anywhere with an internet connection. The Dojo is unlike any other bagpipe learning experience in the world. Let the Dojo channel your enthusiasm into a fun and fulfilling program that will empower you with the knowledge to fall in love with piping all over again. So go to dojouniversity.com/Big Rab and take advantage of our 30-day free trial of Dojo Premium membership. Join the global community of students today and rediscover the fun of bagpiping. dojouniversity.com/Big Rab for a 30-day free trial. Ready to take your playing to the next level? Say hello to the ES Session Chanter, the ultimate practice chanter designed for versatility and durability. Crafted from stainless steel and aluminium, the chanter comes equipped for both an A stem and a B flat stem, giving you the freedom to play along with any instrument, anytime, anywhere. Whether at a band practice or a trad session, the ES Session Chanter keeps pace with your creativity. Included with the chanter is the custom carbon carry case, the perfect addition to this compact and tactile instrument. To get yours, head to essessionchanter.co.uk. Okay, time for the news and updates, and of which there are plenty, folks. Okay, now, again, you're going to have to forgive me. There's going to have to be stuff hit the cutting room floor here, because there's just way too much. This past week was just absolutely blistering. So much piping and drumming. Kind of make your head spin. The place I want to start with is what we're going to talk about in this week's topic of the week. Okay, I'm going to be completely selfish and give it a brief mention here in the news and updates. Tullylagan Pipe Band had a huge fundraising concert in the Bernavon Theatre there in Cookstown. We mentioned it last week on the pod. What a show. What a show is all I can say. It was just an absolute moment in time. Absolutely fantastic. And we'll be unpacking the detail of that a little bit more in this week's topic. Yeah, so Tullylagan Grade 2 took the stage, of course, with their brand new lead tipper at the helm, Gary Corkin. And thumped out a big tune, man. Whew, yeah. As for ourselves in the Tullylagan Development Band, yep, we were happy with our run. We thought we'd done okay. PM was happy at least. So yeah, all round a good performance. I have to give a mention to the William Kerr Memorial. I'll talk more about them later. They honestly, such a good set. Well done. And of course the Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band as well. Whew. Yeah, so what a brilliant concert, and full credit to all of the organising team, people behind the scenes that made it all happen, of course, and the venue, the bands involved, and of course the audience as well. Just a stellar show. Well done to everyone involved. And the future's bright for Tullylagan. Definitely sounding really strong at the moment, and a grade that's going to be ultra competitive there in Grade 2. So yeah, best of luck. It's not going to be an easy grade. We do call it the ridiculous grade for a reason. Oof. Yeah, so like any band in Grade 2, they have their work cut out. So yeah, good luck, and what a great concert at the weekend. All right, speaking of this past weekend as well, so much happened, but I'm going to have to talk about the New York City Tartan Day. Oh, whoa, yeah, it seemed to be a week-long celebration. There was events all across New York City, and just way too many for me to mention. Okay, now, you guys know I love a good hashtag list. Now, I have been going through all of the coverage from the New York City Tartan Day. There was live streams all over the place. There was official live streams. There was unofficial live streams. There was sponsored live streams. The bands themselves done their own live streams. And we done our best to share every possible aspect of it out there for all of you to enjoy over the course of the weekend. Also, I have to give a particular special mention to the Force. Yes, the Force drum major display team who travelled across from Northern Ireland over there to the US to showcase drum majoring. I have to say, that full credit to them. It was absolutely brilliant watching their experience unfold on social media. Yeah, from rehearsing in Central Park, which just looked to be iconic, to even going out in the evening and having an ice cream or a big slice of pizza. It just looked like so much fun. And then, of course, that moment, that huge moment where they were part of the Tartan Day Parade. Wow, that was goosebump stuff. Of course, their display that they'd done on Ellis Island as well, with, the Statue of Liberty behind them. Oh, come on. Yeah, it was brilliant to see drum majoring showcased in such a way. It was just fantastic. Well done to the Force. All right, I have to talk about the pipe bands. I do have a list. Now, this is my own list. I don't know if this is a full and complete list of every pipe band that took part in the Tartan Day celebrations. If I have missed anybody out, then please do let me know. I'm going to do my best to give an entire list of everyone that took part. All right, starting with the U.S. Naval Academy Pipes and Drums. And they also had their Highland dancers with them as well. So well done. The Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo, I think they're called the Piper's Trail. Quite a number of mates of mine were playing with them. And I think they were also in Carnegie Hall as well. That was quite an iconic moment. So well done to them. Also, I have to give a shout to the Mount Kisco Scottish Pipes and Drums. Yes, now they were leading the St Andrews Society, according to my notes here. So well done to everyone there. That was quite a big affair. Also to New York Caledonian Club Pipe Band. Yes. The NYU Pipes and Drums. There you are. We also had Robert Gordon's College Pipe Band were involved there too. We had the Pipes and Drums of the Atlantic Watch. Now, this was a band I knew very little about, to be honest. And it took me a little while to get some detail on them. But yeah, shout out to the Atlantic Watch. Also, Oban High School Pipes and Drums were there. And I have to say, their social media was just a joy to watch as well. They had a lot of great big performances all across the city in the lead up to the parade. And yeah, well done to everyone there for Oban High School. They seem to have the best possible crack. Yeah. Also, give a shout out to the St Brendan, the Navigator Pipes and Drums. Now, what a name for a band. Again, another band I know very little about, the St Brendan the Navigator. Love to learn more about them, actually, but there you are. They were involved too. Also, I have to give another shout to Renfrewshire Schools. Yes, Renfrewshire Schools Pipe Band. Again, they thumped out some big tunes, man. Oh, did they ever. Whew. Right, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go and check their videos on their socials. I have to give a shout to Renfrewshire. They were just absolutely brilliant. Well done. Also, the Jock Nesbitt Memorial Pipe Band. Now, this was a massed pipe band that was formed from many different pipers and drummers from all across the district. Now, I don't know if this band was specifically formed for the Tartan Day Parade, but that could be stuff that Rab got wrong. But yeah, the Jock Nesbitt Memorial Pipe Band, which was a huge mass band. It was brilliant to see. Also, I have to give a shout to the Tri-County Pipe Bands. Yes, also to the New York Metro Pipe Band as well. Yeah, it's great to see the Metro. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Also, the Athol Highlanders were across as well. And I think Gary West was with them playing a few tunes. So you may well hear some behind-the-scenes stuff on Gary's next podcast with Enjoy Your Piping. So yeah, shout out to the Athol Highlanders. They definitely thumped a good tune, man. They were really good. Also, Falkirk Schools were across. And again, big tunes played. Well done to Falkirk. They absolutely sounded brilliant. Full credit to them. Absolutely. Also, the Shannon Rovers Pipe Band, which, again, I didn't know much about, and I'm still wanting to learn more, so any info on them, please let me know. Yeah, well done. Also, the Iona University Pipes and Drums. Now, I had no clue that they actually had a pipe band. So, this is new to me, or again, this could be stuff that Rab got wrong. Maybe I've written this down wrong. But yeah, the Iona University Pipes and Drums. Now, again, I'm hoping I'm not wrong. I hope I got the name right. But there you go, giving you a shout in the pod. I mentioned to the Shamrock and Thistle Pipe Band. Now, I'm not really down with where they're from. I was trying to do a bit of research to find out where the Shamrock and Thistle Band were, where they're based, but couldn't find them. So anybody knows where they're from, please let me know. Be interested to learn. Also, the Nord Anglia Chinese International School Pipe Band were there. Now, we managed to feature them on a previous episode here on the show, and also I managed to talk to the pipe major of the band over on my BBC show there on Kintra. So, yeah, shout out to them. Brilliant pipe band venture, and a lot of really talented musicians in there too. A lot of great pipers and drummers. So, well done to the Nord Anglia Chinese International School Pipe Band. Great experience. Also, we're getting close to the end here. I have to give a shout to Fettes College. Yes, great to see them. Also, George Heriot School managed to send a band across, and again, seemed to have the best crack just following them on social. That was brilliant to see. Now, forgive me if I pronounce this incorrectly, but I have written this down in my best handwriting. Cherie M. Swampia. Nope. Swamapaba. Yeah. I can't pronounce that band's name. I apologize. This is me, Big Rab. I always pronounce stuff wrong. The Cherie M. Swamapaba Pipe Band. Completely butchered that name. My apologies. And then I'm going to wrap things up with the last name I have on my list here, the Pentland Caledonia Pipe Band. So I do know the Pentland guys, actually, and they can blow a tune. So, yeah, folks, that is my list as I have it. If I did manage to miss any bands out, my apologies. Again, I've done my best to trail through all of social media and the website and, yeah, watch the live stream, taking notes and everything. I hope I managed to give you all a good shout. Well done to everyone. I have to say, this Tartan Day, or Tartan Week, really, is absolutely huge and is continuing to build for bigger and better. I'm sure by now you've possibly seen a lot of the footage of the bands marching down Fifth Avenue and stuff. Like that backdrop, those massive buildings, and the crowds, man. The crowds at this were just insane. So, yeah, well done to absolutely everyone. Also have to give a bit of an honourable mention, I guess, to the Rolling Drones. Thumping out some big tunes. There were some big moments, actually, with them on Times Square, I think, where Anna had the pipes and was thumping out big tunes, and everyone was like, what's going on? And then I think it was the Oz Scott dancers from Australia joined in and started dancing the Highland Fling. It was really impromptu in the middle of Times Square, where it's normally crammed filled with tourists. And they were thumping out a Highland Fling. It was brilliant to see. So if you haven't seen that, by the way, go along, check out on their socials. They have a lot of great content from the New York Tartan Day celebrations, including another impromptu performance, not only from Times Square, but also where Anna just decided to get up on top of the table and start thumping out tunes there too in a bar. And talk about the crowd loving it. The cheer that went up was nothing ordinary. A lot of people really enjoying the Tartan Day celebrations. And an honourable mention, the Rolling Drones there, who absolutely thumped out some big tunes at Tartan Day. That was fantastic. All right, let's move on. Okay, now I'm only going to briefly mention them on the pod this week because I have given it many different plugs throughout this past few weeks, and you're probably sick of hearing me talking about it. But next weekend is quite a busy weekend for concerts, I have to say. Yeah, the National Youth Pipe Band of Scotland will be in concert at the Glasgow Royal Concert Hall on the 19th of April, and tickets for it, I think, are still currently available. You can get them through the National Piping Centre, of course, or even the Glasgow Royal Concert Hall box office. And yeah, the National Youth Pipe Band of Scotland are a previous Big Rab Show award winner for Live Act of the Year. They can definitely thump out a tune, and this is essentially what they call their end-of-year concert, so you're going to be in for a pretty decent treat there for sure. There's going to be a lot of great tunes played, so grab tickets for that if you do want to attend on the 19th. Also on the 19th is Police Scotland Fife, who are going to be in concert, of course, in Aberdeen Music Hall. Now, we've mentioned this I don't know how many times now, and I still can't believe that some tickets are still available. Yeah, so if you do want to see Fife Police in concert, go and grab your tickets for this. Now, this is a concert where the Big Rab Show will actually be there. So we are hoping to grab a lot of behind-the-scenes kind of stuff for our Patreon folks, as well as some exclusive interviews and little concert clips and stuff for our Patreon guys. This is going to be a show not to miss. If you're a Fife Police fan at all, dancing on the beats, yeah, this is going to be quite a huge show. So, as I said, 19th of April, 2 really good concerts to go and enjoy. The National Youth Pipe Band, of course, in Glasgow, and Fife Police up there in Aberdeen. It's going to be a busy weekend of piping and drumming for sure next weekend. Anyway, a lot to enjoy. Okay, going to have to talk about a few competition dates, actually, that are fast approaching. Yeah, dates that you probably should already have in your diary, but I'm going to run through them anyway. Going to give a bit of a huge plug to the Leinster Championships. Yes, right here in Ireland. I have to say the 10th of May can't come quick enough. This competition is shaping up to be quite a big one. Yeah, it's going to be held in Newbridge House, of course, down in Donybate, County Dublin. And has all grades across all grade 4, grade 3, grade 2, all the way up to 1. As you heard on a previous podcast, St. Lawrence O'Toole actually planned to attend this one and duke it out. And we've been hearing rumours about potential other grade 1 action as well. So, there's a lot to enjoy here. And for full information, of course, you can go along to the ipba.ie website for more details. And, as well as the bands, there'll be a lot of drum majoring action on offer as well. And, from what I remember, the venue down here at Newbridge House is just fantastic. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So, if you do all that information, it's up on the IPBA website. But get that date in your diary, 10th of May for the Leinster Championship. Yeah. Speaking of dates for diary, well, of course, this weekend is the Ulster Solos. Oh, yeah. I might have mentioned that last night on Fuse. The Ulster Solos are this weekend. And, folks, I couldn't be more excited. Of course, taking place in Cookstown High School this year. That's quite a good venue by all accounts. And, the full draw is available now. All of your piping and drumming and tenor drumming and bass drumming is all up there now. You can read that at your leisure. I have to say there's quite a who's who of both the solo piping world and drumming world involved in this, so there'll be a lot of great piping action and drumming to enjoy. So, for all that detail, again, go to the rspba.org. All of that info's up there. And good luck, everyone. That's going to be shaping up to be quite a huge competition. And no doubt we'll give a bit more of a full report on it next week's show as we detail who won what and where. Yeah, just brilliant. Speaking of results and everything, this past weekend, of course, as well, thanks to the Army School of Bagpipe Music and Highland Drumming, they hosted a solo competition. Yes, it was called the Inch Druer Beating Solo Drumming Competition. And that all took place in Inch Druer House in Edinburgh. I have to say a huge thank you to Rab Show team member Stuart Campbell, who did attend on the day and managed to film pretty much every performance. And they're all up there now on our YouTube channel on glorious 4K. So, if you want to see a lot of the drumming action that took place at this competition, it's all up there. And also we managed to live stream the results as well. So if you do want to know who won what, you can go along to the Big Rab Show on socials and go and watch the live stream of the results and the prize given. There you are. So yeah, thank you to the Army School of Bagpipe Music and Highland Drumming for having us there. It was such a brilliant event, really well ran. And the Inch Druer Beating solo drumming competition. We're looking forward to next year's now. We believe this was the first one of its kind in Inch Druer House. So we're hoping to see a lot more drumming action from this competition in future. So yeah, we'll keep you updated on that one if there are going to be future competitions held in this venue. And keep you across that. But well done to all of the competitors. And of course, big thank you to Stuart who attended that day and filmed all of those performances. And all really great quality. So go and check them out. All right. Another date for your diary. And we're talking about competitions. Well, we have an indoor competition coming up here in County Antrim, to be specific. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a full band indoor competition. And here it is. So this is all taking place in Park Hall Integrated College in Antrim on the 26th of April. That's just around the corner in a few weeks' time. So, as I said, this weekend is the Ulster Solos, and then, a couple of weeks' time after that, we're all going to Park Hall for an indoor pipe band competition. Now, I say this is, we haven't seen an indoor full band competition take place here in Northern Ireland for, years. So I'm really hoping that this will be well supported. All right, so go and check out the details. They're up there now, rspbani.org, and I don't think the draw has actually been published just yet. But I'm hopeful. I'm hoping to see a great entry from bands, but also, a lot of spectators attending this. So if you can, and if you're in the area, please do get that date in your diary, 26th of April for the indoor pipe band competition. That's going to be such an exciting event to see indoor competition returning again. That's brilliant. So it's good to see the Northern Ireland branch looking for such a venture and taking a bit of a risk there. So looking forward to this, and I'm hoping that it will be very well supported for sure. All right, let's move on. Now, I know we mentioned it last week. I'm going to mention it again. But also this weekend, yes, we know it's the Ulster Solos, but we also have to talk about Lisbeg. Lisbeg Pipe Band are throwing a huge anniversary concert celebrating 75 years on the road. This is all going to be happening in Carrick House Hotel in Clougher. They're calling it Don't Stop Believing 2. That's a great title. So Lisbeg will be in concert themselves, of course, along with a solo performance from John McElmurray and, from Joshua Green as well. He'll be there too. Compere in the evening will be Gary Wilson, and there'll be a wealth of other performers, of course, from the County Armagh School of Drum Majors. And, we'll also have a display from Louise Smighton, of course, as well. Looking forward to that. So there you go. If you do want to go and help support Lisbeg, then go and check out their socials for details and where to go and grab tickets for this weekend's concert. So what a way to celebrate 75 years on the road, boy. Well done. Looking forward to seeing and all the action from that, of course. Shout out to Lisbeg. Also, this past weekend were the Munster Solos. Yes, have to give them a shout, of course. And also, full congratulations to James Stone of St. Lawrence Tool, who managed to pick up the Pembroke Prize, the A-grade piping, as well as the open grade piping as well. So well done, James. What a weekend's work there, mate. Well done. And also a shout out to John McFall of Black Raven, who managed to pick up the C2 snare drum title as well on the day. So well done to everyone involved at the Munster Solos. Quite a big event that by all accounts. So well done everyone. Great stuff. Well, not only were the Munster solos taking place, I also have to mention, of course, the European Solo Drumming Championship took place. Yes, thanks to our good mates there at Kingdom Thistle and the Dundee, Perth and Angus branch who hosted it. It was, pretty much a success story all round for everybody involved. Of course, we have to mention the winner on the day in the adult snare category, Kerr McQuillan. Yes, People's Ford, Boghall and Bathgate. Well done. Also, in second place was Stephen Crichton of St. Lawrence Tool. Well done. In third was Alex Buchanan from Field Marshal. Fourth was Craig Laurie. And from what I've heard from the performances, the little video clips and stuff I've seen online, the standard was ridiculously high. So well done, of course, to our top four there in the adult snare drumming category. But also on the day, there was tenor drumming on offer. Yes, we have to say full congratulations to the adult tenor European champion, Jill Watson from People's Ford, Boghall and Bathgate. Well done. And so, as we've managed to see those performances online, we have shared them out wherever possible from the drumming perspective. But also, I have to give a shout out to our pipers who were also playing at this as well. I have to give a mention to Jonathan Simpson, who was the winner of the Open MSR, hornpipe and jig combined. And of course, he plays with the Edinburgh Academy Pipe Band. Yeah, the Open Pembroke winner was also Ian Simpson from People's Ford, Boghall and Bathgate. There you are. All right, so I have to say pretty much well done to everyone there at the Dundee, Perth and Angus branch. And the European Solos, Kingdom Thistle European Solo Drumming Championship was absolutely a roaring success. And again, I'll mention it, the standard was so high. So if you haven't seen those performances, by the way, get yourself over onto the Rab Show socials. We've shared those out far and wide whenever we spotted them. And it was absolutely brilliant. Well done to all of our prize winners and to all of the competitors involved there. Yeah, just a stellar event, that one. Also, we have to talk about the Oceania solos that took place there in New Zealand. What an event that was. Yeah, Christchurch, New Zealand was overtaken with pipers and drummers, and what a brilliant event that was. Whew. Yeah, so I have to say, congratulations to Douglas Bislin, who managed to pick up the MSR, with Stevie Shedden in second, and then the hornpipe and jig went to Stevie Shedden as well, and in second place was Becky Weir. There you are. So, honestly, the full list of all of your prize winners from the Oceania is available now. You can go and have a look at that online. But, well done to everyone involved there. Whew! What a competition. Well done to Stevie Shedden, who managed to pick up the overall winner of the Oceania's Solo Snare Drumming Championship. And, of course, lead tipper of the mighty Hawthorne. Brilliant. So, those performances, again, are online. I know I keep repeating myself, but if you do want to go and catch any of that action, go along. Rab Show socials. We've shared out everything we can far and wide, so go and have a watch of them. All right, folks. Do you know what? I think at this point I'm going to wrap it up here because we're about to head into our topic of the week. There's been a lot that's hit the cutting room floor. I haven't even mentioned that registrations are open now for the Balmoral School of Piping and Drumming. That's a thing. But also the draw and the timetable for 2025, the SPA, the Professional Solo Piping Competitions, are available now as well. Yeah, the SPA, the Scottish Pipers Association. Anyway, all of that information, all online if you do want to go and get that detail. I'm not going to try and list it here, #list, when we have a topic to get into. But yes, there is always stories that hit the cutting room floor. And if there is anything that we should have mentioned, then please do let us know. bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Let us know if there's anything that we have glaringly obviously missed and we should be getting into. Yeah. All right. Okay. I think it's time for me to finally go and get a big cup of tea. It's time for the topic of the week. Kingdom Thistle Pipe Band Supplies. For all your pipe band and marching band needs. Supplying everything from uniforms and instruments to custom-designed bass drum heads. They offer it all. Not forgetting their exclusive Kingdom Gilly Brogues and George Boots, crafted by bands for bands. Kingdom Thistle provides expert product advice and an industry-leading drum refurbishment service to keep your equipment in top-class condition. Also, shipping worldwide. So, stop by their store in Fife or visit them online at kingdomthistle.com for all your pipe band and marching needs. Wallace Bagpipes. Quality, pride and passion. Made in Scotland. Proud bagpipe supplier to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. From the most basic of sets to the most elaborate, they have something for everyone. Also offering bagpipe repairs and restoration. From a simple makeover to a full overhaul. From a chipped mount to a complete replacement. Wallace Bagpipes have you covered. Visit wallacebagpipes.com for more information or contact your nearest dealer.
Hello, this is Allie the Piper, and you are listening to the Big Rab Show.
Okie dokie, time for topic of the week. And you might have guessed by the title of this week's episode what exactly we're going to be talking about. Yes, piping in concert. Now, a bit of a cryptic title, but for good reason. We're smack bang in the middle of concert season right now. Concerts aplenty, and we might have mentioned a few of them earlier on in our news and updates. Yeah, a lot of showcasing of brilliant piping and drumming is taking place on stage rather than the competition circle of late. And I wanted to talk about my own personal experience about piping in a concert. Yeah, for the longest time, I have been a snare drummer for 30 plus years, and as you guys might have known who've been following my story, I guess, well, I've been playing competitively as a piper since last season with the mighty Tullylagan. Yes, I've been playing with their development bands and been really thoroughly enjoying the whole process, to be honest. The challenge of it all. Yeah, it's been an experience, and one of which I'm definitely relishing because I haven't really stopped learning. You know, you would think with me doing this podcasting game that I know everything there is to know, but definitely not. If anything, this past weekend was such a huge learning experience. After the show took place, and I managed to, come home and I sat down with a pad and pen and I kind of made notes on everything that I kind of picked up from what I learned from playing bagpipes in a concert. And yeah, they are a world away from what the drummers might experience in concert. That's another topic altogether, but we'll get into that. So I have to say, first of all, full credit to everyone there at Tullylagan Pipe Band. Also to the William Kerr Memorial Pipe Band, who were also there, and along with the Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band as well. All three bands put on an absolute clinic. The show itself was unbelievable. And I'm sure by now you've probably already seen the clips online. It was such an amazing show. So full credit to all of the bands involved. And I'm going to talk about my own personal experience, okay? Now, I'm sure there are others in the show who would have had a much different experience from me and were probably a lot more chilled out than I possibly was on the day. Have to say, I did throw myself an extra layer of difficulty. I was compere on the evening. Yeah, I was on the mic and I was introducing things and, keeping the show moving as a compere does. And, as a result, I might have been running around behind the scenes in between bands like a bit of an idiot, trying to sort stuff out. And, it was frantic at times. Although I hope I didn't manage to make that show when I was on stage. Cool, calm, collected, and freaking out silently underneath. Well, anyway, I have to talk about my experience of piping in concerts. This is my own kind of take on it, all right? If any of this rings true with you folks out there, then this is why I am talking about it. And I'm hoping that you can join in on the conversation, of course. And if not, and if none of this makes any sense to you at all, then, hey, fair enough, Wait till next week's pod, I guess, when we'll do another topic of the week. But hoping you can join in on the crack anyway. All right, I'm going to start at the very beginning, all right? The warm-up. Now, this is something unique to bagpipers. Drummers don't really need to do this very much. With drummers, what I'm kind of used to is just get the hands moving, have a wee rattle on a drum pad for, 4 or 5 minutes, and you're good, But with piping, it's a completely different ballgame. You have to warm your pipes up in the venue that you're going to be performing in, get them tuned to a certain degree, and then you have to go for sound check. And that's a whole different animal altogether, where they're setting microphones, they're moving lights around, all this kind of stuff, as well as setting up monitor systems so we can actually hear ourselves. It's one of the biggest problems, I guess, with playing on a huge stage is that the sound absolutely disappears. And sometimes you really just can't hear yourself at all. So, the setting up of speakers and monitor systems and things is a real challenge. And yeah, sound check can take some time. So by the time you've warmed up your pipes, you've maybe been blowing for about 20 minutes, and by which time you're starting already to get a little bit of fatigue setting in. Then you blow your way through sound check as well, pardon the pun, and that could be at least another half hour to an hour worth of a process, by which time you've been standing blowing pipes for an hour and a half. Now, by that stage, the stamina levels are starting to take a bit of a hit, and perhaps the sound's starting to wander a little bit. A couple of retunes later, and try to get things back on track again. And, there's a problem with mic 3. Can someone blow a tune? Yeah, I can't hear the drones. Oh, I need to move that. Right, can you stand forward a bit? There's your mark. Etc., etc. Anyway, after all of the sound check debacle, then you can put the pipes back in the box, and hopefully they'll behave themselves when you take them back out again. So we did take various different measures, and I learned a few tricks of the trade as well to hopefully have your pipes behave themselves whenever you reach them back out of the box again after sound check. A lot of that was interesting. It was all to do with temperature and moisture and all of that, and having the bagpipes in a controlled place where they are all stored in the same location, all the same way, and all of very fascinating stuff. So I learned a lot there, you know. Anyway, very similar in a way to a competition, I guess, but we did have to think about it that little bit more when it came to the concert setting. That was interesting. Now, as I said, that was all the before, okay? You know, after that, you went and got something to eat, you changed into your uniform, and then, boom, showtime. And I have to say, you talk about nerves. Genuinely, folks, whenever I'm doing compare and stuff like that, and I'm standing in front of people with a microphone, I absolutely go to bits. And people are surprised when I say this. I was actually chatting to the bass drummer of Tullylagan, Scott, and he was asking me, which do I prefer? Do I prefer playing or do I prefer comparing? I had to tell him I definitely prefer playing. You know? But this time round, I was double nervous, absolutely petrified for the comparing, because the venue was pretty much sold out at this point. And yeah, I was going to be talking to quite a huge audience of piping fans, and that's quite daunting. So not only that, but this was my first time on bagpipes in concert, and I've been to so many concerts, and I know what they should sound like and what I would like to sound like, you know? But reaching that level is incredibly difficult. One of the things I've noticed, I think if anything, I kind of made myself worse. Whenever we were at soundcheck, obviously the grade 2 band were on stage before us in the development band. So the grade 2 guys were up there sound checking, thumping out some big tunes, man, and we're melting our face. And for number one, they made it look effortless, as if it didn't cost them a thought. And the band sounded amazing, and I was so chuffed. And it was like full of gusto, you know? It like kind of buoyed me up and inspired me, thinking, yes, I can't wait to get up there and play tunes, get these pipes out of the box, let's go. And then the grade 2 guy says, right, that's us, we're done. Okay, development band, you're next. Up you go. So they all left. I got the pipes out of the case, and yeah, Big Rab got a reality check. Oh, was today going to be my day? I don't know. But that's what I have in my notes here. The grade 2 band gave me a reality check as to where my standard was. Anyway, but that, I have to say, it was brilliant watching them, just total professionals. They made it look really easy, and yeah, we learned a lot as a development band getting ready for the concert. So yeah, the nerves itself, both from a playing perspective and as a compare perspective, were something else. And I don't know, this is something I maybe want to tackle on a future show. I want to talk about stage fright or performance anxiety, stuff like that, you know, but those nerves that you get pre-show or pre-contest, it's an area that I'm really fascinated with, because I have been really suffering quite badly from it over this last few years, ever since post-COVID, I guess. I don't know what it is. Used to be before, I could absolutely stand up there and play my way through a concert on a snare drum, and I have not a thought in the world. I'm, no nerves at all, cool as a cucumber. But for some reason, this past weekend when I was on pipes, I was just in bits. I was in absolute pieces, and I don't know why. It made no sense. But Anyway, I hope that it didn't shine through in my performance either as a compere or as a bagpiper. I really hope that I managed to hold up my end of the bargain, and from the feedback we received from pipe major, tutors, all of that, it did seem to go reasonably okay, so quite happy with that. But that's one of the things I really wanted to address on the topic this week is stage fright. So has anyone out there had experience of this? How did you overcome it? Have you any ways of dealing with it, I guess? We'd love to hear from you. I am definitely all up for all advice at the moment. So yeah, email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Yeah, I'm being incredibly selfish with that one. But I don't think I'm alone. I think there's a lot of other people out there as well who would also be quite nervous when it comes to performing. And I would love to discuss that on a future show, how to overcome such things. So as much as me kind of going through the nerves of it all and being an absolute, just a collection of butterflies, all right? Once the show got going and I said, hello, everyone, welcome to Cookstown, that was it. It was fine. After that, no problem. We had a plan. The show was rolling. I was grand. But up to that point, forget it. Forget it. You couldn't talk to me. I was almost, I'm not going to be graphic here, but their guts weren't good. Yeah, there might have been some nervous vomiting going on. Anyway, that's TMI. But I don't know, I was an absolute bits with nerves. But I have to say, after the show started, that was it. Completely fine. The train was rolling. And then came the moment where, I knew the band was coming up. I'd already introduced the Grade 2 band. They'd thumped their way through some sets, which was brilliant. Then the William Kerr Memorial come on, and they sounded, they were good. Yeah, newly upgraded to 3B, and I can't wait to see them in the circle, man. They're going to be good. So, they put on a fantastic show. But as soon as they hit that last note, then I realized, oh boy, I have to blow pipes now. Now, during William Kerr's set, actually, I had to run to the other end of the building and I had to go and warm up with the band. I had to get my pipes back up to temperature, retuned again, and then ready for me to play. So, sprinted across the building, played a few tunes in the tuning room, and for those of you that have actually seen the footage behind the scenes, actually, there is a little tiny clip of me tuning up with the band in the practice room that we had set aside. That was way in the other end of the building, and that was me after sprinting for a good 2-3 minutes to get there. That's the reason why I'm all sweaty and flustered. Managed to blow my pipes, get them up to temperature, reasonably well tuned. Let's go. So once I had the pipes tuned, it was running right back to the stage again. And then out the wee side bit where I had my mic, and I said, right, wasn't that brilliant? There we go, William Kerr, brilliant. If anything, I managed to hear their last set, which was fantastic. So then I had to introduce the development band, and then I had to go and lift my pipes and then play some tunes. Now, the first tune, I was so nervous. I don't think I had a notion where I was, what my name was, what was going on. The bright lights were in my face, and I honestly couldn't see any of the audience, which honestly I think was a blessing more than anything else, because I'm sure I looked terrified, but whenever I looked around me at my bandmates, they also looked terrified as well. And they all had kind of, oh my God, we're on stage. Wow, look at all these people. So everyone had that kind of air of, oh, this is happening, with all of those eyes looking at you. It's definitely a moment, But as soon as the pipe major then said, okay, folks, we're going to play out the first set. Are you all ready? All set to go? All right, let's enjoy it. The level went from like a 90 down to a 10. It was, definitely well needed. To see that the PM, the person in charge of it all, was really cool. Calm, collected, wasn't bothering him at all. Then that all helped us too. You seen the shoulders actively drop and go, all right, let's play the first set. Okay, and play we did. We played our way through all of the concert stuff, our competition stuff, all of it, played it all, and then the drummers finished everything with the drum salute, so we were able to sneak off backstage and just watch the drummers have a bit of fun. And honestly, the buzz that I got after that, Man, I have to say, I have played in some top flight competition in my time. And I've played in some of the biggest circles that I can imagine. And the buzz of playing in a concert like that was something ordinary. The cheer that we got from the crowd in Cookstown was amazing. And it was just brilliant to feel so well supported. You know, to have that massive round of applause even after our first set, I'm thinking, wow, this is going well. Whew. And then the thought came, don't mess it up. If the first one was good, don't mess the second one. All right, and that's just my mindset. I always go back to the negative going, don't mess it up, don't mess it up. So anyway, the buzz, the absolute buzz that I got personally, and I think a lot of the other band members felt the same, a lot of big smiles, a lot of very happy people, pats on backs and everything, a concert well done. And yeah, I couldn't be prouder of the group, to be honest. You know, put in a serious amount of hard work behind the scenes, and it was brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. So that's one of the things I think concerts really have going for it. You have that immediate crowd support, you know, and that's one of the things I'm going to talk about is the crowd. Yeah, sometimes at piping gigs, all right, specifically piping concerts, sometimes you can have an audience that are sitting there with, you know, like the clipboard kind of mentality, all right? Yeah, you know the concerts I'm talking about, you know, where you get these armchair judges and they're going, bottom ham was a bit flat there. Somebody's F was off and needed a bit more tip. And I don't know, there was drones starting to wander a bit there, weren't they? Yep. See that opening roll and that third tune there? I was clipped. Yep. Stop it. All right? Just stop it. I've experienced that way too many times, even as a drummer. But yeah, thankfully, this concert was not that. The audience was definitely more than supportive, and we're very happy to see the band in action, actually. So yeah, it was brilliant, a great experience. I didn't once see any armchair judges sitting with the arms folded going, yeah, tone started to wander there in the last part, didn't it? Yep. Yeah, there was none of that, thankfully. But it is a thing that we have with piping audiences that do attend concerts. And yeah, some of our piping audiences can be really super critical. Yeah. Now, no matter the concert either. Now, this was a fundraising concert, of course, for Tullylagan Pipe Band. But yeah, I've noticed it at others. Even some of the big concerts, like the pre-Worlds concerts. Yeah, in the bar afterwards, you would even hear some of that conversation going on, saying, well, you know, under them lights and all, they must have been getting the temperatures were on the climb because, you know, the chanters were starting to climb too, weren't they? Huh? They were getting sharper, weren't they? What? No, like, just enjoy the show. You've just been thumped in the face by amazing music, and here you're talking about their chanters. What? Anyway, that's been my experience, all right? I would love it if pipe band audiences could attend the show and be as supportive as what I experienced this past weekend. And yeah, that is kind of my experience. You know, by and large, that has been the overall feeling from most concerts, that they're there to support the acts and they give them a cheer when it's deserved. But also, yeah, there are those armchair judges at concerts. So go and do that at a competition. If you want to play your armchair judge and, you know, try and put your bands in first, second, third, fourth, then go for it. That's where you go and do that at competition, all right? That's when you can get into the minutiae of missed grace notes or maybe a flubbed burl or something. You know, absolutely, that's where you can do that. Not at a concert. A concert's there for entertainment purposes. And yeah, I have to say, though, the audience in Cookstown, more than supportive, with a huge cheer, and it was just brilliant to see. Very supportive, yeah. Also, I have to say, the other bands in the concert as well. I mentioned the Grade 2 guys there earlier in Tullylagan, you know, filling us with inspiration and then giving us a bit of a reality check. Yeah, that does kind of add its own extra layer of pressure. Yeah, you know, because on the evening we had William Kerr Memorial Pipe Band, who were just brilliant, as we've mentioned. But also Tullylagan Grade 2, as I said, they were just another level. But Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band were there as well. And they absolutely tore the stage up. I don't know if you've managed to see their videos that they've posted on socials, but holy smokes, they sounded brilliant. Like, big tone, and their drum corps were absolutely ripping it up. So, yeah, I was so chuffed to see Queen Elizabeth sounding as amazing as they did. But it did add an extra layer of pressure going, wow, they sound like that. Wow, I want to sound like that too. I've got a lot of work to do. So, yeah, the ability to be able to watch other bands in concert, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? You love to see them doing so well and sounding brilliant, but at the same time, yeah, it's about, you're like, oh, wow, hey, they're sounding something special here. I've got some practice to do. Yeah. But, yeah, definitely a motivator, for sure. And, yeah, I have to say, that was my experience with seeing those other bands on stage. Definitely provided a lot of motivation, but also a bit of a reality check as to where my own playing standard is. Yikes. Anyway, I've got work to do. Yeah, I should be practicing instead of podcasting. All right, well, I have to say, after that, my experience of piping on stage, number one, I didn't want to let my pipe major down. All right, that's kind of the given. That I always say that for even competition stuff, but concert even more so because we worked so hard on the material, getting it all together. I also didn't want to let down my fellow bandmates. Again, that's very similar to being in competition, I guess. You don't want to be the person that makes the big mistake and throws the whole thing off. And so thankfully, no one in the band did that. There was no major screw-ups or anything, so yeah, it was all good, but you always have that fear, I guess. Yeah. And then number 3, which is an added element of concerts, is that you want to be entertaining. You hope that the music that you're playing is good enough that your audience out there will appreciate it and think, hey, that was a good tune. And I have to say, thankfully, that was the case in Cookstown. But I'm sure there's concerts out there where pipers have performed and maybe it didn't go all the way well. And I'm going to talk about what comes next. Yeah, the aftermath of all of this. Now, this is a new thing, I guess, since social media is a thing and smartphones are also a thing, and everyone now has, pretty much a 4K camera in their pocket. Well, yes, social media is a massive thing. At the venue, they had a strict no filming policy, but as you've seen, there was so many videos published from the concert this past weekend that's all across socials. And that's one of the elements of a concert that adds another layer of pressure. Because not only are you going to be performing to that audience in the theater, right there live, but you're also going to be performing to those people who'll be watching that video later. Either the next day, the next week, the next month. It's up there online forever. And that does add a giant level of difficulty. Yeah. Now, thankfully, I have to say, the concert absolutely was singing. It was brilliant. But every band that hit the stage hit it with gusto, and there was a lot of great music played. But I'm sure you guys out there listening to me right now will have already got some examples in your mind of when things perhaps didn't go too well. Maybe there was some big mistakes that were really noticeable on stage and managed to throw things off the rails a little. Then, that video footage lives online and is there forever, unfortunately. Social media is a brilliant thing. It can be used for advertising purposes and showcasing our amazing music far and wide, but it can also be used to cut the artist down and go, oh, listen to this. Wow. Why are they on stage when they sound like that? That kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. That social media was definitely an added fear factor, What happened if I went up there on stage and had an early chanter or a bad cutoff, or maybe my blowing was completely off the rails and my tone just went out the door altogether. I had to retune everything while on stage. Ugh, how embarrassing. But, hey, it's reality. It's bagpiping. It happens. So, yeah, I have to say that fear factor of social media, the live audience in the room, all of it played a factor here. And I have to say, as much as this is my own experience, I have to say that this is now a very common experience for everyone involved in the bagpiping scene. I'm very surprised nowadays when I see a lot of young folk taken to the stage and it doesn't seem to bother them in the slightest. They step up there like it's just another Tuesday. and they thump out some tunes that melt your face, and you're thinking, wow, like, I must really overthink everything. You know, that kid just walked up there, absolutely melted my face, and just, yeah, it's another day, you know. I don't know what it is, but maybe I do overthink things. And perhaps, you know, worrying about the social media, the live audience, and all of that, you know, maybe I do overthink it. But, yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, that one. Even for those involved in top flight bands that are absolutely at the pinnacle of things, yeah, are they worried about their critical audience that are listening to every grace note? Are they worried about the videos that get posted to socials straight after the show? All of that. Are they worried even about the online commentary, about the keyboard warriors and what they're going to say about their take on the music? It's a very interesting dynamic, that, and it's one of which that we've been a kind of experience for this last 10, 15 years, I guess. And, well, obviously ourselves in the Rab Show, we're a big culprit of that. We do cover a lot of these events, and we talk all about them, of course. So we do kind of feed into that, don't we? So, yeah, I guess we have only ourselves to blame, because I'm sure if anything would have went wrong at the Tullylagan concert at the weekend, I would have had to have talked about it on the show this week. But, yeah, show went well, in case you haven't guessed. But it's an interesting dynamic, you know? The nerves beforehand, the buzz afterwards, then the worry about the social media impact and what everyone's going to say out there in the world. And then, yeah, just sitting back and watching it all unfold online, and we're hopeful that it's largely positive. And, yeah, to date, I have to say, thankfully, a lot of the feedback that has been on the footage that's been published online has been all really positive. And again, I have to say a huge well done to everyone there at the Tullylagan show. It was such an experience. And again, thank you for having me, playing in the band, number one, but also for being your compere on the evening. That's quite a big deal. I don't take it for granted at all. I absolutely love doing it. It's a bit of crack, even though I'm absolutely in bits with nerves before I say hello, everyone. So, but that's just me. Anyway, so I'm sure I'm not alone in my experience. You know, by the time the band came off stage and we'd finally played our final tune, I have to say I was absolutely wrecked. I physically absolutely spent. I don't think I could have played another tune even if I wanted to. If the audience had asked for an encore, wasn't going to happen. By this stage, I could not get air into the bag. I was very glad that the last tune was coming up, and I just about got through the final part and the cutoff. Thank goodness. Yeah, I was telling the PM, I said, had we had to play another repeat or something, I wouldn't have got there. I would have had to put my pipes down. You know, it's one of those things. By that stage, I'd have been piping for about 3 or 4 hours, and that was me. I was done. So as to how some of these grade 1 big guns do it, and they can pipe for 5-6 hours solid, I have no idea. And genuinely, folks, that's what they do. On the Wednesday of the pre-Worlds concert, they could be there from about 9 a.m. in the morning, getting ready for their show at 8 p.m. that evening. And, yeah, they're warming up, they're tuning, they're sound checking, they're rehearsing, you could be there standing, blowing pipes for a good 5-6 hours, and then you're playing another about 2-hour show after that. And then, of course, then you have the after party in the bar afterwards. And there's more tunes played at that, where the pipes get out, of course, and people go up on tables and start dumping out tunes as well. I just don't know where they get the stamina. I would be absolutely a puddle on the floor. Yeah, game over. But full credit to them. Honestly, you know, I hope to work on my stamina, obviously. There is such a thing as being match fit, and that's one thing that concerts really do help with. And that's kind of where I'm going to finish this week's topic, is being match fit. One thing that concerts really do help bands do is to really motivate ahead of a competition season. Ourselves, of course, in Tullylagan Band, we had so much focus on our concert stuff that we really haven't spent an awful lot of time on our competition stuff. We have a little bit. I can't say we've completely neglected it, because we've practiced it quite a few times. But, yeah, the priority was the concert first and foremost. Now the concert's behind us. Well, we now have a fully functioning band who are all fully tuned up, ready to go. And all of our maintenance is in place. All our drums are set with new heads. Everything's singing. It's all tuned up. Now we have a bit of time, I guess, to get ready to hit that competition circle. So now is the time where we can kind of help tweak things whenever it comes to our competition set. And instead of concentrating on maybe a half dozen concert stuff, maybe we're now only focusing on the competition stuff. And that's, I don't know, it's kind of one of those things that concerts help provide a bit of focus and help to get bands off the ground following a bit of a winter where maybe not much playing was being done. Gives bands focus, a reason to play. And if you haven't considered going along to any pipe band concerts at this time of the year, I can't urge you enough to go along and support pipe bands if they are in concert. Number one, it helps them fundraise, but number two, they love playing in front of an audience. You know, if they open their eyes and see a big, massive crowd out there, then it definitely is a huge shot in the arm and can be definitely the push that a pipe band would need at this point in the season, just ahead of hitting that competition circle. So it can definitely be a huge motivator. And I would encourage you to go and see any pipe band in concert over this next few months, I guess, because we are still in concert season. So, go out and grab tickets. Go and support your favourite pipe band if you can. So, again, just to wrap up everything with this week's topic, that was all my personal experience. As I've said, there are many others in the pipe band, I'm sure, probably seen this concert as just another Saturday. You know, just another concert. Hey, we could just breeze our way through it. And if anything, I have to notice that was the case. There was quite a number of people who seemed very relaxed and just kind of, it's just another day. We'll play a few tunes, have a bit of crack. But not me. I was an absolute bag of nerves. Anyway. But seriously, well done to everyone there at the concert. It was just a roaring success. Well done. That's pretty much it for this week's topic. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on anything I talked about. You know, did anything I learned from this concert this past weekend, did any of it ring true for you guys and your experience of piping in a concert? I would love to know your opinions on it. And of course, I'm desperately looking for advice in overcoming stage fright or nerves, you know? That's, I don't know, that seems to be a real thing with me this last while. Don't know why. Anyway, email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Or, of course, you can send us in your weekly drones if you don't want to be identified. Send them in to JD, and he'll read them out here on the show. Tell us about your own experience of bagpiping in a concert or a gig. Has there anyone out there ever had that, where their nerves were so bad that they were physically sick? Or, anything else like that, dealing with nerves, any coping strategies, I guess. And then, of course, the buzz afterwards. Wow, what a show, what a moment, you know? That's it. All right, let's move on. I have to say, good luck to absolutely everyone who is competing this weekend in the Ulster Solos. Of course, unfortunately ourselves in the Big Rab Show, we will not be there. However, if we do see performances being filmed and shared online, we will share those out there, of course. And we will, of course, be keeping you across all of the developments with the results and all of that. So, good luck, everyone. Have a good tune. I do know there's a good number of you who are deep in preparations for this competition this weekend. So, have a good tune. And if you are out and about piping this weekend or drumming yourself, then definitely let us know. Again, send us in your Rab Show selfies and we'll share them out on our socials. And, have a good tune. Folks, I hope you've managed to enjoy this week's pod. If you have, then please do share it with your mates. And, of course, don't forget to follow us on Patreon, where there's got lots of little extras back there. For every click of support really does help support our show, and we can continue doing what we're doing. And, you get a lot of wee extras for buy. There you are. All right, folks, that's it. I am out the door. Thank you all for downloading this week and each and every week. And, of course, we'll be back again next week for another topic of the week. And, of course, we'll be going through all of your commentary from this previous week. Folks, I'm see you all again. All the best. Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thanks so much for downloading this week. And a special thank you to our sponsor, G1 Reeds. Played by bands around the world, they are the champion's choice. Check out g1reeds.com for all of your piping needs. Don't forget to check out thebigrabshow.com to be kept up to date with all of the latest news and views from around the piping world. And also, check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your hands on tons of extra piping goodness and be a part of the Patreon faithful. So, until next week, folks, we'll see you right here on the Big Rab Show Podcast. All the best.